Very few times in my line of work have I been left utterly surprised by an anime's existence. This is one such time. Now, I picked up Psychic Force at a convention in Green Bay last year, not knowing anything about what it is, but there was something about it that prickled the feeling I get whenever I figure something might have a chance at being a dumpster fire. So I dropped the coin and brought it with me home. And boy oh boy, was I right in the worst way possible. Sure, no one has to be psychic to know that something like Psychic Force was probably the anime equivalent of the burning Hershey squirts, especially if they have two working eyes. Oh god, these character designs. I don't even know who this guy is, but he already pisses me off. And that hair. It's like the guy saw a picture of Zell Dinked from Final Fantasy VIII and thought, challenge accepted! And who wants to bet Morrissey here is the soft-spoken friend/rival of Zell Plus? Wait, hold on. Zell Plus's jacket says burning fire and has blazing decals, his hair looks like flames, and Morrissey is clad in blue and has a cool demeanor, and god, this is annoyingly obvious! Who even released this POS anyway? Image Entertainment. Of course! From 8-Man After to Galerians, Image Entertainment has certainly proved to be one of the most confounding anime licensing companies I can properly recall. They only did about a dozen releases over their time in the anime game, with only Hyper Police and The Secret of Mamo being of any held significance. And their time spent authoring DVDs doesn't seem like it prepared them for this train wreck of a DVD case. Unless, of course, this really is dubbed into English. So yeah, this had shiny failure written all over it. And then I found out this was based off a fighting game. Released in Japanese arcades in 1995 and stateside on the PlayStation in 1997, Psychic Force is a fighting game, technically. It exists in a weird bubble of video game history where it seemed like there was no barrier to entry toward video game development, at least with the advent of optical disc media lowering manufacturing costs, which also led to the proliferation of high-profile disc-based consoles and the rise of PC gaming. To put things in perspective, the cartridge-based Nintendo 64 over its lifecycle had 388 games. The disc-based Sega Saturn, despite selling not even a third of the total units that the 64 did, had around 600 games. The PlayStation had over 1,100. Of course, no one said with quantity comes quality, and that's certainly the case for Psychic Force. It looks alright for its time. I mean, I never played it, but it could be a hidden gem among the 1,000+ pile of PlayStation games. Or it could be a clunky, forgettable mess. Since I have yet to see a hot take think piece about why Psychic Force is the best game you don't remember, I'm going with option B. As you might conclude, the game didn't catch fire, either here or in Japan, with a remix a la Street Fighter coming to Japanese arcades and staying there. There was a sequel released, which managed to get a Dreamcast release here in the States back in 1999, but that would be the last we would ever see of the games here in America. Which sounds like the perfect candidate for an anime adaptation, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Released in 1998, then stateside in 2002, this 2-episode OVA is one of the most hopelessly broken, confusing, and otherwise bewildering anime I've seen in years. And somehow, in a serendipitous twist of fate, the closest I can come to describing what it is to watch Psychic Force is if you took the plotting and storytelling of Street Fighter Alpha and combined it with the terrible, did not give a crap dub of Samurai Showdown. Excited yet? You should be, because quality bad anime like this is hard to come by, regardless if it's based off a fighting game or not. This is Psychic Force. First off, it must be said that beyond the terrible DVD case, the DVD itself is terrible. If you put on the dub, you also need to put on the subtitles, because otherwise the DVD won't translate establishing text, so you better either know hiragana or yuragana. Additionally, there is no cast listing anywhere on this DVD. Hell, there are no American production credits listed here at all, just ones for the Japanese side of the production. I've seen credits filled with fake and stage names aplenty, but I've never seen none. In fact, there is no information available about this dub whatsoever. Nothing on IMDb, nothing on Anime News Network. This is the dub that time forgot. And, as you'll soon see, for good reason. So, we get off to a lightning quick start as it seems that soldiers are invading a compound and this guy, whoever he is, instantly bamfs a sword into one of them like he was Guile from Chrono Cross. And then there's a woman in a tank, but then she's not in the tank, and then she is again. Is there supposed to be like two of them? Oh no, I made a huge mistake! I have no idea what's going on. So, I guess we're in France now, because there's the Arc de Triomphe, where cops are killing kids. What? I suppose this is sort of an X-Men situation where they're culling mutants, or psychics in this case, but why would the cops care if all of Paris is in ruins? What chain of command even exists at this point? And as if the anime wasn't done slapping our brains around, it immediately cuts to a mother about to kill her own son by stabbing him with a knife? And this is how you start your anime? And now we're in China. I guess you don't have to establish anything if you just keep jumping around like a cricket on speed. But why limit yourself to just location? Let's jump around time itself! It's now 3 years later, and I still don't know what the hell is going on. All I do know for sure is that this dub is legendary.
Mama, I'm your kid, aren't I? I'm not a devil, am I?
Oh yeah? Where'd you hear that? The psychicers? Huh? What are you? Some kind of cop? Some kind of government cop?
You know, I've learned to avoid using terminology like the worst ever or more painful than ear syphilis because more often than not, there is something worse than what you just witnessed. You haven't seen it yet is all. But I shudder to think of the day when I come across a dub worse than this. From top to bottom, everyone in the cast sounds terrible. It's not even funny how bad they are. It's actually pretty depressing to see and hear it. It goes beyond mere incompetence. They didn't even care enough to put in the effort into being incompetent. How else would you explain the mile-wide gaps in the lip flaps and the redundant dialogue? The saddest part is that there's actual real talent in this dub, and it's wasted on this material in horrible direction. I've said it once, and I will say it again. You can fix incompetence. Ain't no fixin' carelessness. At the very least, I can somewhat get a handle on what's going on, finally. Seems that Zell Plus is looking for Morrissey, who turns out to be the leader of the Psychics, or Psychicers, as they put it, for some godforsaken reason. All of a sudden, though, Zell's questions get an answer when a worldwide broadcast interrupts the proceedings. But that will have to wait because now we have to jump back to 2007. I've seen a less fractured narrative in Cloud Atlas. Needs more badly placed Beastie Boys music. So, it seems that Zell and Morrissey met each other once upon a time ago, when Morrissey was a wanted man trying to escape the government, and Zell was just a farm boy tending to, oh my god, his dad! What kind of farmer wakes up every day at the crack of dawn to feed the chickens and slop the hogs, but not before he mooses the crap out of his hair? Actually, the more I examine this country farm life that Zell grew up in, the more I'm left wondering about him. Like, where in the world did he get such trendy clothing in such an environment? Unless the local Cracker Barrel also sells sleeveless turtlenecks. Also, sleeveless turtlenecks? Just in case if your arms are too hot, but your neck's too cold? Morrissey stays the night, the family Zell having taken pity on him. But while he skips out on breakfast to try and outrun the government, their agents are back at the farm trying to turn it upside down to find him.
What are you guys up to, huh? Billy!
They shoot his dog? I was fine with cops murdering children, but Goons killing border collies? Those monsters! Oh, wait, he's fine. It's just a big old boo-boo. Wait, does this also mean that the kids from the beginning of this anime are fine too? But at least the dog is fine! Too late for Morrissey to save the day, but he arrives anyway to play Mr. Freeze and tell everyone to chill. Except for this guy who just kind of runs away and is never seen again. Which is a real shame because all Morrissey wanted to do was tell the guy that Subway was bringing back the $5 footlong.
Why are you running away?
Leave me alone.
Keith.
I shouldn't be around you.
Dude, you're the one who came back, and now you're talking like this? This is an entirely new stratosphere of annoying emo we're dealing with. Yeah, this guy's real name is Keith, because when I think badass psychic who also happens to have the power of ice for some reason, oh yeah, I think Keith. Exception that proves the rule. Morrissey is still a wanted man though, as we immediately smash cut to a chase at night where the goons manage to gun both of them down and cart Morrissey away. I'm sorry, but Keith is not a name you can dramatically scream at the top of your lungs. Mendoza, yes. Keith, no. No matter how many times they try to do it.
Keith!
I'm just saying. Zell, at tears over not being able to save a friend he met just yesterday, raises a fist to the moon and solemnly swears he will rescue him. And in a startling bit of actual filmmaking, it transitions into the raised fists of the public at the present day, hearing the cry of a new nation of psychics led by Keith. In fact, this edit is so good that the anime immediately ruins it.
Fear him and praise him. His name is Keith Evans.
Hooray! We have to fear and praise our new genocidal despot! We're under a fascist dictatorship! What? Okay, I have all the questions. Like, how in the world did Morrissey conquer anything when it looks like the government blew up half the planet already? Or has there been a miraculous rebuild all over the world? Also, why is everyone so elated at the prospect of being under the thumb of somebody they're supposed to fear and worship? How in the world did Morrissey go from captive to conqueror in 3 years? And how much starch does he have to use to pop his collar that hard?
I am here to bring you the perfect world of the Psychicers.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Don't think I make this reference lightly.
To the lonely souls lost in time, I'll bring you to the light. Let me bring your minds together. Let me guide your thoughts.
Also, don't forget to fear and respect me. Have I made my benevolent message clear? And now Zell is in the ruins of mankind's folly. Why? Who knows?
There's not even a cat. Oh.
You know, it's really the small, seemingly insignificant details that truly make an anime great. Like the way Chihiro taps her shoes on in Spirited Away. The way Hines tries to dodge the question about his daughter in Magnetic Rose. Or the way Psychic Force has Zell needlessly bring up cats so that the anime can have a cheap jump scare. Or is this supposed to be a joke? Either way, it deliberately wastes our time. It's really how you separate the wheat from the chaff. Speaking of, it seems like Morrissey has really rounded up some A-plus players for his motley crew to run an entire country full of psychics. Why, he's got this lady, and that guy, and oh god, not another psychotic murderer with claws. Can't have a fighting game without one.
The smell of the warm flesh. The feel of the meat splitting in pieces. Remind me of a barbecue.
Oh, so that's what separates him from the rest. He sucks! Though he isn't the worst of Morrissey's lackeys.
What exactly are you up to, Wong? You don't see anything. You don't feel anything. Why are you closing your mind?
I don't feel it necessary to open my mind to a machine.
Fine! If you're gonna be like that, then you can keep your ancient Chinese secrets! Oh god, I'm making Calgon jokes in 2019! How am I alive? Yup, this is Wong. Can you tell he has ulterior motives? They certainly seem to be more sinister than Morrissey's plan to single-handedly save every single psychic from being exterminated, and wouldn't you know it, while on one such rescue mission, he runs into Zell.
Burn!
Keith!
Oh, I recognize that laugh. I'm honestly debating with myself which of these is more embarrassing. With the good acquaintances reunited, Morrissey takes Zell back to his base on Shadow Moses Island. You think I'm being cute, but it's a nuclear missile site in Alaska filled with psychics. In a strangely homoerotic scene, Morrissey takes Zell's hand and awakens his latent psychic powers, remarking,
I've never seen a power of such passion and size before. Burn. I'll awaken your power.
Of course, Zell masters his new large power within mere minutes. Good thing he does too, because when the poo hits the fan around here, it waits for no one. Zell escorts the few psychic children that Morrissey has been recruiting out of the base, one of them being the kid whose mother tried to kill him. It's nice seeing the kids survive, until they're both abandoned in the Alaskan tundra. Have fun freezing to death, kids! Especially you, Little Miss Midriff. I don't know, maybe I'm being pessimistic. I suppose it's possible they could catch Captain America trying to run back to the States. It's the mother of all peck-and-paw endings as Zell and Morrissey duke it out, and Wong goes rogue to, I don't know, be a nuisance? He reveals he just wants to rule the world, and if Morrissey carries out his plan of exterminating all non-psychics, it wouldn't be much of a world to rule, so he tries to kill the remaining psychics. Because, by the way, if you're thinking that all of this is happening at the speed of light, you're not the only one. But hey, if the anime wants to abort the ride now, I'm not gonna stop it. Nor am I inclined to stop the anime's insisting on compounding Morrissey and Zell's homoerotic subtext.
I promised myself I'd save you!
You've come. You've come to me, Burn.
I'm coming, Keith!
Two close friends grunting and panting together, remarking about how they've come to save each other. Is there such thing as homoerotic overtext? Actually, Morrissey mouths I love you to Zell before saving him from Wong self-destructing the entire base, which is actually kind of funny because it completely blindsides Zell like he got his signals crossed. I sincerely was not expecting this turn at all, which might have been interesting if the anime wasn't so insistent on being so rock stupid and failure. And as Zell looks on at the burning wreckage before him, that's the only feeling we are left with. Failure. Failure at basic storytelling, failure at adaptation, just failure around every corner. It's almost amazing to see something so fundamentally broken and so hard-nosed determined to waste the audience's time. Even if you were to seek this out under the misguided assumption that this might be funny bad, all you're really going to be left with is utter confusion and annoyance. I might be overstepping my opinion here, but even if you did play the games back in the day, I can't imagine you'd find this even remotely entertaining, because familiarity with the source material still wouldn't save the schizophrenic pace of the whole thing, or that atrocious dub. As I said before, there is a danger labeling something as the worst of anything, but I can comfortably say that Psychic Force is definitely within my top 10 of the worst anime I've ever reviewed. Possibly even top 5. Ye be warned, viewers, only misery awaits you here. And you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of talking about misery. I want to talk about fun. Or at the very least, fun memories. And it has been a while since we last talked about Pokemon, hasn't it? Till next time.